Richard, a couple of months before the exam results came out, I think you said on the stage here at Hassenbrook that you were very, very confident of the results. You were quite right to be, weren't you?
Yes, we were very pleased with the results. It was an interesting challenge this year because we'd gone up 19% the year before, which obviously we were delighted about. And then we had to move on from there. Sometimes when you've made a big jump, you then make a bit of a smaller step after that because you're more or less consolidating. But we thought we could move on even further, and I'm pleased to say that our confidence was well placed. The year group we just had were a terrific year group with a great work ethic, to be honest. So we had that, huge confidence in them in terms of what we thought they'd achieve, and they did it. So another 10% on that. Somebody came in to train our staff last week, and he said, and he works for a national organisation in London, he said that form of sustained improvement, he thought, put us over 2 years in the top 10 schools in the country. Because a 29% improvement over 2 years is unusual.
And it's interesting, if you take the statistics, especially with the including English and maths, that Chafford 100 is now on top, so to speak.
Very good scores at Chafford, 79%.
Yeah, but Gabriel Hall and the convent seem to have this group of 3 or 4 schools now, and they're looking right over the shoulder. Absolutely,
yes, yeah. I don't like to necessarily view it quite in that competitive environment, but I suppose there always is a bit of edge of competition between the schools. But yes, ourselves improved, St Clair's, Willieds. The results for Thurrock, I'm not sure really, to be honest, that they've been made enough of. Thurrock schools now are performing at a very high level. A large number of schools are over 60%, 5 A to C's, including maths and English. And that is a very good level. The national average is now 52 this year it's gone to. So a lot of Thurrock schools are way above national averages.
But it does seem, again, people unfortunately make a sharp contrast between the 10 senior schools and then the primaries and say there's something going for them.
Yes, I think we all became very focused, especially when the maths and English element came in. We all became very focused on the task in hand and went about it probably in a slightly different way and maybe a slightly more rigorous way, with a real heavy focus on results, and you can see the benefits for the kids that are coming out of that. You mentioned the maths and English. I mean, I'm a strong believer in the core, and one of the things we do here at Hassenbrook is focus on core subjects. So we've really focused on saying our results will be very good in maths, in English, in science, in ICT. And they're 4, absolute key areas. I don't mean to sound as though I'm knocking the other subjects, because I'm not, but I think to some extent schools up to 16 are providing a foundation for where the students will be for the future. You don't really want to be specialising by 16, and lots of kids don't know what they want to do after 16 anyway. They're going to go on to more specialised courses once they reach 16. So we've had a strong focus on the core, and I'm particularly delighted that in all those subject areas we got exceptionally good results this year.
One thing we're going to do in your therapy with some of the schools is look at work experience.
Mm-hmm.
What would you hope, or what do you think prospective employers see in a Hassenbrook student?
I hope they see some confidence, some good social skills so that they can work well with other people. And then that they have a lot of good basic skills that would stand them in good stead for making use of the things in employment as well. The students who leave here, when they go off to places like Palmer's and so on, some of the feedback we get is that they are amongst the best prepared students that they get. When you go to even somewhere like Palmer's, never mind employment, kids need to be able to work independently much more post-16. Our kids are able to do that and to fend for themselves and do well at that level. So it's been good to see that, and that's confirmed by the kinds of results. I received some results from Palmer's today of our students who went there 2 years ago, and they are very good results, and it's good to see that they've been able to carry those learning practices that hopefully they developed here and carry them through into taking them to A-level and on to university, a number of them.
And on the GCSE results day, we interviewed some of your students, and the two of the girls we interviewed seemed to be, we've earned the right to go to sixth form. Not that it was a privilege, it was a privilege, but also earn the right. That was an encouraging attitude, isn't it?
I think it's an encouraging attitude, and I think one of the things that's happened, and I think probably in all schools across Thurrock, but obviously I can speak particularly for Hassenbrook, is a shift in aspirations the last few years. And that, of course, has an effect on the results because you want to do better, therefore you put more into it, etc., etc. And it becomes a virtuous circle. But I think that there's a lot more thought about further education first and then higher education now among students. There is a bit of there was a bit of a culture of, well, it's okay as long as the results are reasonable. But people are looking for more and more now, and I think that's great, and that's reflected in the attitude of the students and of the parents.
Did you, when the letter came in from Michael Gove, did you ever consider the idea of the school becoming an academy?
Oh yeah. But don't forget, Mr. Gove's letter was a bit of a sneak, because to find out the details about academies, you had to register an interest. And you didn't really know whether you were interested or not until you read the details. So you had to register the interest, then read the details, and by then Mr. Gove is saying, oh, well, all these schools are interested. But when you look at the financial rewards for moving to be in an academy, the extra money that would be made available, it is considerable. And therefore anybody will be foolish not to look at it.
The borough, since August the 2nd, has a new chief executive for our council. We interviewed him last week, and he seemed to be very much a person who says to staff, please don't tell me what you can't do. You know, a can-do person. Are you hoping to build up a good relationship with the new chief executive?
I suppose so. The last 2 or 3 chief executives we've had very little to do with, to be honest, and that's not a case of choosing not to have anything much to do with them, but their paths have not particularly crossed excessively with schools, I think. But the whole nature of what's going on in Thurrock is going to be really quite different. It already is heading that way because of the financial situation that they find themselves in. There's been talk for a long time about the role of local authorities in education, and it is diminishing. And it's diminishing with the budget cuts at a very significant rate. So while I would always want to maintain good relationships with the local authority, I think we're increasingly in a situation where they have less and less influence over what happens in schools.
With each of the heads, this is our 3rd year of interviewing each head in September.
Sure.
How busy is September for you compared to all the other months?
I think there are peaks and troughs throughout the year at different points. And the start of the year is always going to be a busy phase. There are so many things that are being set off. And of course you've got new students to settle in, new courses to settle in. So it is very busy. I've just spent 2 weeks using a lot of spare time interviewing all the departments about their exam results. And we've been through every one and looked at them in great detail. And then I'm getting them to make some commitments to me for the next 12 months, so I could be positive 2 months before results all over again. So there are a lot of things like that happen in September that probably don't come up again in the same way later on during the year. So yeah, very busy time this first couple of weeks. It's beginning to settle down a bit now, but it has been hectic.
But again, you look forward to another dynamic year for Hassenbrook.
Very much so. I think we'll be very successful again this year. I'm not sure after 29% of jumps we can do another 10% or something next year, but we're certainly looking to take it forward again on results and in all sorts of other ways as well. We've opened our new building in September. We haven't had an official grand opening yet, and you're welcome to come and film us when we do. And we're trying to find somebody to open that for us, but we've started using the building, so that's a nice positive start to the year, to have a really nice environment for the students to work in. That's very positive. There are lots of really good things going on in Hassenbrook, and if you walk around the school with your camera, you'd see lots of really positive kids, and that's what it's all about.